Hey everybody, I hope you're doing well. I just thought I'd take an opportunity to make a little video and show off my Telecaster collection. I've been meaning to do that. I have some pretty nice guitars, nothing really outrageously collectible, but I do have some kind of nice guitars that I think are sort of collectible. So I'll just start right now. This is my made in Japan 1987 E-Series Fender Telecaster. And I bought this at Elderly Music probably around 88 or 89. And the guy told me at that time it was when the Fender factory was moving to Mexico or wherever they were moving, but they were moving the Fender factory. And so for a few years, the really good kind of main Fenders were being built in Japan. So he kind of was assuring me that even though it was a Japanese guitar, it was a good guitar, which is kind of interesting now. I think, you know, we see Japanese guitars as kind of cool, but back then you kind of had to reassure people that they were still good if they were made in Japan. But it's a really nice guitar. It's got a top loader. I think the ones that are, they made some that were, you know, went through the bottom, but this is a top loader. Once in a while the wiring cracks a little bit, but it's just an excellent guitar. I've got it tuned in open G tuning. And I just pulled it, I didn't even tune it. One final thing I'll say about it, it really stinks. I didn't even notice this till a year or two ago. I started reading more about this guitar. I've had it since the late 80s. I was just married when I bought it. But up here, it's supposed to say made in Japan. And look, someone scraped it off. And I didn't even know it. I've had this guitar, what is 1988 to now? It's almost 35 years I've had this guitar. And I never noticed till just a few years ago that someone had scraped that made in Japan off before I bought it, the previous owner. And that really hacks me off. I even called to see if there's any way to get it put back on, and I was told pretty quickly, no, you can't fix that. But it really ticked me off. I was kind of researching a little bit about the guitar, and I noticed, well, these other E-Series, they all say made in Japan up there, and this one didn't. So I was actually kind of mad, but it's an excellent guitar. I'm never quite sure what it's worth. I don't think it was, you know, it's not like some really vintage, outrageous guitar. But to me, it's kind of nice. It's kind of occupies an interesting place in Fender history when Fender was moving the factory, and they made these guitars. The other thing I remember about it, when I bought it, I don't think they had as many, you know, American Professional 1, American Professional 2, Ultra, American Vintage 1, American Vintage 2, you know, Performer, Player, all these Mexican Teles and Strats. It was pretty much the main Telecaster, the main Stratocaster, which in a way was kind of good, but it's a really nice guitar. Coming in at number 2 or 3 or whatever is another Japanese guitar, TL69 Blue Flower Telecaster. I believe this is a 2016. I'm pretty sure I bought the last new one in the United States because I wanted one, and they were selling out, and Guitar Center had a few, and then that one sold. And I got this one, and it was sold to me as new, although it had been on the floor of the Miami Guitar Center a long time. When it came, it had some dings, and I said, "You call that a new guitar?" And so he marked it down after I already bought it and received it, and he refunded some of my money, and I got this for like $700. I noticed these sell for around $1,500 or $1,600. I don't know what they're worth, and I don't know if people get that, but it definitely seems like people like them. This is a great guitar. Just you know, the Japanese make good stuff. They always say the parts might not be quite as good, but I don't even really notice that. It's got that big logo. I guess that it's like a 1969. I think the original Blue Flower was 69. I always think Blind Faith because, you know, in Cream they always had like painted guitars. Alvin Lee, Eric Clapton, Jimmy Page, and the Mirror Telecaster, the Dragon Telecaster. And I like those flowers. But it's tribute to the 1969 Telecaster, which was Blue Flower. They have a pink one too, a pink paisley you might see. But this is an excellent guitar. Excellent. I think it's got a polyester finish on it. I have 11s on it, and I use it for playing slide since I've got several different tellies. So sometimes I'm not sure about that because it's kind of set up for slide. I don't end up playing it that much unless I'm playing slide. All four of these guitars have those vintage slotted tuners. And I never paid much attention. The 1987 doesn't. But this one has those vintage slotted tuners. And when I first needed to change a string, I couldn't do it. I didn't even pay attention because I'd never had them before. And I suddenly realized I can't do that. With the where you put it in the hole, and then and I still have someone else change the strings for me. I'm embarrassed to admit. But one thing in the time I've owned these guitars with vintage slotted tuners, I've come to realize they really hold their tune really well. And if you think about it, I think that's the old Leo Fender mechanism. Leo Fender was a great genius, and I think they're sort of like a very rudimentary form of locking tuner. I saw a guy say that on the internet, but I've never had any problems with like string slipping or anything like that, and they hold their tune great. But if I ever do need to change the strings, I always kind of regret having them. But actually, I think they might be a really good type of tuner, probably better than some of the ones that are more convenient. But this is just a great guitar. And, I think if this were nitro, it would age into green over the years. But this is polyester. Now, I don't know what's the difference between polyurethane and polyester, but this is polyester, which type of poly, I guess. And I think that's like wallpaper under there. It's got a clear plastic pick guard. But if you get a chance to pick one of these up, they're great guitars. I've had some mixed opinions on the Blue Flower. Some people like, and you see on the internet, some people like it, some don't. But I really do. It reminds me of the hippies and great music of the late 60s when I see it anyway. But it's a super nice guitar. Well, the next one I wanted to show you, I haven't had that long, and I couldn't pick between, if I were going to say which is my number one Telly, I'm not sure it would be between this one and the next one I'll show you. But this is a great Telly, and it is the Jimmy Page mirrored Telecaster. This thing is great. I mean, you read some of the reviews, just like in Sweetwater or Guitar Center or Amazon or just wherever people have, some of the forums, or there are a number of people that say this is the best electric guitar I've ever played. It's the most expensive production line guitar Fender's ever made, the Jimmy Page mirror Telecaster. I've never played the Dragon one, which was a Mexican one, but I did see several reviews, and they all said the Dragon one was fine, but this is a really much better guitar. I bought it used for $1,900. It came to around $2,000, but it was like 19 something. And I think they sold for like 25 now. Now I think they're selling for 28, so it's not a cheap guitar. I think if you spend any more than that, you're in the custom shop. So I think the most expensive guitar Fender makes besides the custom shop stuff. But it's just a super duper good guitar. It's got great pickups on it. It's got that real clean but kind of hot sustainy sound. And it sounds like Zeppelin when you play, like that old Zeppelin 1 sound. It's got the vintage tuners on it. I love the finish on this thing. Ice cream white nitro finish. Looks like ice cream. And it occurs to me, I don't see all that many white Telecasters. I said that one time, and then I Googled white Telecaster, and there's some around. I think, in the 60s, I tend to see more. But I don't see that many white Telecasters, so I really, really like this guitar. And it just is a super duper high quality guitar. I mean, it's excellent. It's got Jimmy Page on there. I don't really care about the signature aspect. I mean, I didn't buy it because I love Led Zeppelin, although I do love Led Zeppelin, but that's not why I bought it. But everyone just said it was a great telly, and I like good tellies when I see one that I think will, you know, are really worth keeping as the years go by. And this is a great one. The previous owner put the mirrors on. I did not do that. I wouldn't have had the guts to do it, but I'm not disappointed the guy did it. And, you know, Guitar Center didn't mark it down. I said, well, you know, there was one without the mirrors and then one with the mirrors. They were both used. And I played them both in the store. The one was sent to the store, and then they had this one. And they didn't mark them down. You know, the price was the same, mirrors or no mirrors. And I also called Guitar Center and I said, just as, I'm not saying I want to, but if I wanted to take those mirrors off, could I? And I was told, no, don't try to take those mirrors off. They don't know, but you might get some big gash or, you know, huge ugly spot in that beautiful white finish, because that white finish to me is just, look at that. Super good guitar. Just super good. I wasn't sure what to make my number one telly, if there is such a thing, because that Jimmy Page one's a pretty great guitar. I guess I should thank my lucky stars. I have 4 nice tellies. I picked them up over years, but here's my, I think I would say my number one telly, the one I tend to play the most anyway, and it's a Fender 70th Anniversary Esquire, which I guess I'm calling an Esquire type of telly, but you know, if you know Esquires, it's got one pickup. This is routed so you could put another pickup in there, but I'm not going to do that. I saw Rhett Shull on his channel. He's got always good videos, and he had a white Fender 70th Anniversary Esquire, and he got a new pick guard and put a Telecaster pickup in there. I'm not going to do that, because then I guess it's not an Esquire, but it says Esquire up there. These are really, really good guitars. It's Lake Placid blue nitro finish and nitro neck. That Jimmy Page also has a nitro neck. I tend to like nitro when I can get it. Haven't seen any aging on it yet. You know, I think when they have nitro today, I don't think it ages as fast as some of the older nitro did, which is okay. Because who wants to spend a lot of money on a guitar and have it all, you know, so some of that aging isn't, if you're not careful, like if it's from heat or cold or something, it can be ugly. So one of these days, I'm hoping I'll wear it a little up here. But it's just a super good guitar. As soon as I took it out of the case, it was in really good tune, just shipped new, and I played it, and it's just got a snap to it. I like to play oldies, so it's really good for like oldies style. Like if you want to play like old Elvis songs or you know, Del Shannon, anything like that. And it's a great rock guitar too. I mean, super good rock guitar. And I decided I'm not going to play on this video because it kind of went on too long, so I'm not going to try to play any of them. But I do have little clips of all 4 of these guitars at different places on the channel, and you can find them. But this is a great guitar. I notice the price of they're not available used anymore. It's a true limited edition. That's one thing about that Jimmy Page guitar. I kind of thought it'd be a limited edition because the guy at Guitar Center said all signature guitars are limited editions. But then after I bought it, I bought a used one from the first run, and there weren't any new ones available. And then they came out with the new release of it. So I guess it's not quite as limited as I hoped, but this is a true limited edition. They only made them for 2020, and they're already selling at Guitar Center used for about $1,699, $1,700. And about a year ago, they were selling used for about $1,300. So, I mean, I think it's going to hold its value. Not that that's why I bought it, but it's just an excellent guitar. And that Jimmy Page guitar is excellent. But I feel very fortunate because, you know, the fact is all 4 of those guitars are really excellent guitars. The Blue Flower Telecaster is an excellent guitar. That 1980s guitar, which I don't play that much anymore, but I played it quite a bit, is also a great guitar. I have it set up and open in G, but these are all 4 great guitars. And I guess I should be thankful. It's not Thanksgiving, but I am thankful I'm able to have 4 such nice Telecasters. And I've always been kind of a Telecaster guy. I love my Strats. I've got a couple Strats I'll show you one of these days too, but which are also on this channel. But there's something about a Telecaster because I think it's so versatile. You can kind of play Telecaster kind of almost like an acoustic guitar, or there's something about I like to pick. I was an acoustic guitar player for a lot of years, and I always feel like I can kind of pick. Maybe that's why they like them in country. You know, in country they always talk about picking. It's a picking guitar, you know, for a picker. Not just a shredder, it's a picker's guitar, and I like to pick. And but this is a great guitar. I wanted the burst. That when I bought it, I wanted the burst, and it was sold out. And then they were sold out of the white. See, I bought it maybe early 2021. I'd have to check the dates, but there were still some new ones around. But they'd already sold out of all the burst and the white, so I got the Lake Placid blue. Then they also have a surf green version, which is nice, I'm sure, but I preferred the Lake Placid blue over the surf green. But this is a great guitar. I'm going to say it's my number one, although that Jimmy Page is such a good guitar. You know, all four of those are great. Any one of those could be like your main telly. That Blue Flower, too. It's a great guitar. Thanks. God bless.